So, I was just recording this video. I was just recording this video, and all of a sudden somebody on Twitch responded to me asking me what the fuck I was talking about. Oh my god, I have to screenshot that. I think it worked. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna start this over. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, this isn't normally the type of video that I post. If you're coming back, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this video. I recently did a poll on Twitter. I mean, only 10 people responded, so I mean, that's not very many. Or 9 out of 10 people responded saying that I should start making videos where I branch out a little bit, and instead of just playing games, I rant. I did it in a stream one day. Everybody seemed to be into it. I don't know. For anybody that follows me on Twitter, links are below, I have been tweeting on and off about my crazy neighbor. For those of you who have been around throughout, you know that she is actually fucking crazy.
However,
a lot of you have probably seen bits and pieces of it. A lot of you have probably seen what happened in the beginning, or what happened in the middle, or what happened in the end, but maybe don't know the whole story. So I am going to tell the story now. So we had a neighbor that lived there. She was really good. Her and her daughter were there. They were very quiet. Love that. They were very to themselves, which we loved. They kept the place clean, and the kid loved our dog. But earlier this year, she randomly, I think it was the end of March, she moved out, and this new girl, crazy neighbor, moved in. There's 2 apartments in the complex, so there's an it's like a split entry home that has been converted into a 2-story apartment. It's very common in Canada. I don't know if they're very common anywhere else. There's other neighbors that live there. They're fantastic. Again, they keep to themselves. They really don't bother with anybody. They've been there for 14 years. Literally. 14 years. Crazy neighbor moves in, and on the first day, she introduces herself to Logan because she used to live in the neighborhood. So she recognized Logan. First day, not a big deal. Her and Logan talk. I really don't have anything to do with them. The next day, I was outside. I think I was, like, doing stuff in the garden. Or I was, like, raking the leaves or cleaning my car. I don't know what I was doing, but I was doing something out in the yard, and she caught me. She dragged me into a conversation, and I really didn't think much of it. She talked a lot about her personal life, which, I mean, some people are just oversharers. I'm one. At the same time, she overshared about things that weren't just things personal to her. So she moved in, let's say, on a Sunday. On Monday, she had kicked her boyfriend out. Later in the day, her and I are having a conversation, and she's telling me all about her man that she just kicked out because she found his meth paraphernalia. Meth paraphernalia. Not even kidding. That's why, she said. So in my head, I'm like, bitch, you're fucking cracked out right now. So I just, yeah, great, that's awful. Like, you know, how you do in, like, small talky conversations. It was just awkward. She also went on to talk about all the stuff that she owned. Like, she said she had all these cell phones. Like, I had a broken cell phone at the time. I don't think I'd been able to replace it, so she was like, oh, I've got this, and I've got this, and you can buy it, and do you want a dirt bike? I have one of those. Like, it was just like she was always selling something, and we were like, A, why are you selling all your shit? B, why do you just have all this random shit laying around? Because she's, like, when she advertises it, she's like, it's still in the package. Brand new. So
what you doing, girl?
that's the beginning of our relationship. At the end of that conversation, she also asked me about my work situation, and we got talking about the fact that I work in a pharmacy. So Shoppers gives me a discount, and there was this really expensive item that she wanted, and I want to say it was like a $400 something. Don't know what it was, but she wanted this thing, and she basically asked me to buy it for her using my discount so she would get it at a cheaper price. First of all, no. That's a big no-no. Second of all, especially not with a fucking, like, if you ask me to go buy a bag of chips with my discount, maybe. But you're asking me to go buy something for $400 fucking dollars, and I'm just not going there. That was like our first encounter. I felt weird about it walking away. I felt weird that in our first interaction with one another, she asked me a favor that included my spending $400 that she promised she would email me, but also using my discount. So I just kept coming up with excuses, like, oh, like, I have to run it by my boss first, like, I need to get clearance from my boss, like, it's a high-priced item, blah, blah, blah. Bullface lied to her, because I just didn't I didn't want to get into her asking me for those favors, first of all, and I didn't feel comfortable doing it. Fast forward to the summer, a few months, we're into the summer months, and things start happening next door. So she builds a deck on the back, she puts in a pool, she asks us to use our water to fill said pool, and we're like, I guess. Kind of a big ask of somebody that you don't know. Like, hey, can I borrow your water for 2 days? She filled the pool up, took 2 days. We had no water pressure. Like, to the point where we couldn't shower. We had no water pressure. But we sucked it up because we agreed to do it. So, she filled it up. The pool wasn't level. She didn't, like, take the time to level the ground out first. So, things were off kilter, and clearly you can't leave it like that or it's going to damage the lining and the structure of the pool itself. So she had to take it down. Then she filled it back up. Filled it back up about, I want to say, 3/4 of the way full. Again, using our water. So by this point, like, I'm getting angry about it because, I mean, there's a point at which you take things too far. Because not only was her hose hooked up to our house for, like, 2 weeks straight, it was, like, killing the lawn. They weren't turning the water off. Like, I could go on and on. In total, it took 3 times to fill that pool up. All using our water. She didn't want to spend the money on leveling the land. Anyways, so fast forward, like, a little bit further, and we start noticing some bizarre things happening. Like, there's men in and out, and whatever, to each their own. I'm not slut-shaming. But they were sketchy people. So, like, for instance, Logan went out one night to let the dog outside, and he heard somebody scream, "Fuck!" And Logan, like, quickly got the dog and let her pee and, like, quickly came back inside, but he went to the window to look outside to see what was going on. There was just some guy with his arms crossed like this, up against the back of the house, like he was hiding from somebody in GTA about to shoot. Like, it just made Logan feel super uncomfortable. He didn't understand. I don't fucking know. They were fucked up on something, and he tripped out. Then, as I said, things started being brought in, so then all of a sudden she's brought in, like, a barn and wheeled it in on a truck, and, like, it's full of garbage. So she just starts chucking bags of garbage full of food in between her property in the building and our fence. So naturally, the wild animals, skunks and raccoons and squirrels, are digging at the bag through the fence. So her garbage and her food that she leaves in her garbage,
which is against the law, we compost here in Canada, or at least in New Brunswick, we compost.
Then our dog, like, at one point, like, I was outside with Josie and she had a fucking steak bone down her throat before I even realized she had picked something up. We literally, and I wish I had taken before and after photos, so when you go out the back door, we have a deck, and the deck's entrance was to the right as you went out. Straight ahead would be Crazy Neighbor's yard. We literally removed the fucking step and pulled it around to the other side of the house so that the entrance to the deck faced our wonderful neighbor. Wonderful, motherly, wonderful neighbor who treats us like gold, and I love her so much. But anyways, so we literally reconfigured our deck so that we didn't have to face her every time we went outside. It got to the point where I was so uncomfortable being outside that I just stopped going out. Like, I'm in the summer, like, I want to be outside. I want to be outside reading a book in a lawn chair. I want to be outside laying in the grass. Like, literally, sometimes I'll just go out in the front lawn and lay in the grass. And that's because I was too uncomfortable to go out back. I love doing yard work. I love mowing the lawn. I love raking the lawn. I love raking the leaves in the fall. I love piling wood. I had a really bad year this year, and Logan will tell you I did fuck all for him during all this COVID craziness and my crazy mental health stuff going on. Normally, that's stuff that I love to do, and I think a part of what brought me down so far into the hole that I had found myself in was the fact that she's there, and I really didn't feel comfortable being outside. We've talked about selling the house. We've talked about moving in general just so that we can get away from her.
I'm trying to remember all the craziness.
Like, I've never seen anything like it. And then all of a sudden I noticed that she's parking all over fucking town. Like, she's home, her windows are lit up, but her vehicle's not in her yard. So, I mean, parking a kilometer down the street and walking home every night really isn't super effective. Come to find out, the reason that she was parking all over the fucking Helen creation was because she was sleeping with her best friend's husband, and her best friend was trying to get her hands on her. So then that must have smoothed out. I don't know, that's just hearsay. I don't know. Then, we fast forward again, and I mean, there's been crazy things that have happened in between, but I'm just kind of giving the bullet points. Nice neighbor is outside, and crazy neighbor comes outside. I'm streaming, actually, or recording a video, or I was doing something on the computer, and I had my headphones on, and Logan came out and was like, do you hear that? Then I could hear it, and it was the nice and crazy neighbor yelling at each other. I don't want to go into too much detail with this, because nice neighbor is really nice, and I really don't want to be spreading his business all over the place, or hers. They're a couple. Crazy neighbor ripped them off a lot of fucking money. Like a lot of money. So, I've been here 4 years. I've never heard nice neighbor, like, speak barely, let alone raise his voice. Crazy neighbor's been here for like 4, 5, 6 months, 8 months by now. I don't know how long. God. I don't remember when she moved in, so I don't even know how long she's been there, but they're fighting, and it's about the money that she owes him. Essentially, like, she storms off, and he's like, fuck you, bitch. Logan is parked in the front of our driveway, like, as far up as you can go, and I'm parked behind him, so she can't back out using our driveway. Nice neighbor pulls in so that he's right on her ass, and then parks his wife's car, like, kitty-cornered, so that she's totally encompassed, totally blocked in. So, all of a sudden, I'm like kind of cognizant of some noise that's going on, so I go look out the window, and crazy neighbor had called one of her friends, and they were frantically moving things around the backyard. I was like, oop, she's cleaning the yard up, she's calling the landlord or something, like, something's up. Then a few minutes later, like, I had walked away, and then I looked out the front window, and she was parked out on the road. So she was clearing things out of the way so she could drive around the house to get her car out. Because nice neighbor had her so nicely blocked it. I was dying. Honestly, this is the funniest part right here is, so once nice neighbor realizes that she's done this, all of a sudden we heard more yelling. So I go to the window, I look next door, and nice neighbor is out back, and he is picking up every piece of junk that I have ever fucking complained about, and he is just biffing it on her step. Just whipping stuff. So let's say the door comes to here. The stuff that he had piled up against it, including, like, a table and chairs and, like, a L-shaped sofa that, like, for outdoors. The door comes to here, the junk pile comes to here. It was fucking hilarious. I really wanted to go outside and be like, hey, we got, like, wood and stuff out back of the shed. If you want to use that too, like, go ahead. And she pulled in, realized that there was a mountain of shit in her way. Kind of cracked the window just a little bit so I can hear what she's saying. She's on the phone, like, flipping out at somebody about how that she's got to move all this stuff. Literally, like, dragging stuff out of the way so she can get to the doorknob. She just cleared enough so that, like, half of the door was uncovered so she could get to the doorknob, and then crawled over the rest. Fast forward a little bit more, and I get home from work. I'd had a really bad day at work. Looked at Logan and I said, I just had the worst day at any job that I've ever had, ever. He went to let Josie out to pee. Came back inside and was like, I hear sirens. So I went to the front window. Sure enough, they were humping at least, like, 10 cars with their lights on. So Logan's like, I'm gonna go see what's going on. So he went out onto the front step that's, like, right in front of that window. He came right back in because he said, I can hear rifles being cocked. So I was like, I'm gonna go outside. So I went outside, and I was like half in and half out of the doorway, and they screamed. And I was like, they weren't yelling at me, they were just yelling at something or somebody else. I slowly crept out and kind of stood there for a minute and just watched what was going on. And so then I came back inside, and Logan and I were standing in that window when we had cracked the window. We were just trying to get a feel on what was going on, because it was a heavy police presence, and Logan was right. I could hear them cocking rifles. It was kind of freaky. That's fine, whatever. All of a sudden, one of the officers yells, get out of the window. So we're like, okay. And then, like, maybe 5 or 10 minutes later, an officer came to the door and knocked and said that they were taking the situation very seriously, and that they wanted us to go to the basement and stay there until that we were told it was safe to come back up. Come to find out, crazy neighbor was high on meth, and called the police saying that there were people in her yard with guns trying to kill her. Created this intense police presence. Nobody came back to tell us that it was safe to come back upstairs, by the way. But yeah, it was a very stressful evening. I'm just gonna put that out there. For anybody that's ever experienced anything like it, it's very scary. And they don't tell you anything. They will not tell you what's going on. So you're literally just left in the dark wondering what the fuck is happening. It's not very much fun. But yeah. Anyway, so that's the story of the neighbor drama. Crazy neighbor's still there. She's still bringing. But yeah. That's the end of this video. We know how it's gonna turn out. I say that in every video. They turn out how they turn out, I don't know. If you want to follow me, I'll put my socials here so that you can see them. I do have a website where everything that I do is housed in one place. Always appreciate traffic on that website. I do like to give some real estate to people who I think are talented. I used to do like Simmer of the Week. I really have branched out in the type of games that I've been playing, and so therefore Simmer of the Week really doesn't seem to fit anymore. So now I just want to highlight talent. If you want to check that section out of the website, it's just on the homepage. Right now Katie's on there because I love her and I think she's so friggin' talented in ways that she doesn't even understand herself. She will someday, but she doesn't understand them yet. If you liked the video, please subscribe. If you didn't like the video, please tell me why. If you liked it, tell me why. Should I continue to do videos like this? I don't know. You tell me, you know? You tell me.